are here for another podcast number.
Ooh, we forgot.
I think
the
it's
title.
32. You will remember last week we were talking and planning about moving some major things in the booth. We were going to be putting up some new shelves on the wall and taking out some older brown blah shelving units. We had a plan, we had a map, we had everything all ready to go. We just wanted to follow up and let you know how it went. Or how it didn't go.
I'm so tired.
Yes. So we were at the store a few minutes to 1, and the hours were 1 to 8, and we left like a quarter to 8,
Yep.
10 to 8.
Yep.
So we were there essentially 7 hours. And then today, being Wednesday, we got to the store at 9. The store doesn't open for customers until 10, and we're just leaving, and it is 2:42.
Yeah.
So that was 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, another 5 and 45 minutes. 5 hours, 45 minutes. So that is what? 12 hours and 45 minutes.
Yep.
I'm still coughing, as you can tell.
But 12 hours and 45 minutes when they realized what all we did, because we essentially took the entire booth, flipped it, turned it, shook it upside down, shoved it forward, backwards, upside down, and put in new shelves. So I think really,
Yep.
and all in all, the last few hours was just finessing, really.
So, the way I'm planning it is we finished up our video, and I did probably every hour and a half to 2 hours. We did a little snippet of here's what we've done, here's what we need to do next. So, all the way from here we are getting ready to start, all the way to it is now done.
Yes. That was the best one, I think.
Oh,
It's done.
we are tickled pink.
Well, I think we shouldn't count that last hour, because for the last hour we just stood there going, oh, it looks so pretty.
Yeah, we won't count the 45 minutes. Well, we did sit down and have a sandwich because we were
That's
hungry.
true, yeah.
So, essentially 12 hours.
Yeah.
And between two of us, plus Connor was there the first day on Monday helping us put up the shelves, and he left, it was, I don't know, 5-ish?
Yeah.
A little after 5. So, a lot of things went according to plan,
Yes.
and some things didn't go as planned.
Yeah, nothing catastrophic, Catastrophic?
Yeah.
Say that again.
You speak good English.
Catastrophic.
Yeah.
Big.
You know what, though? We really did well because we're always where we forget something. So it's one of those, we were like really like writing lists and so proud of ourselves. We got there. We had everything. We started the project. Got all the brackets measured and put into the wall. And then it came time to cut the shelves.
I'm waiting.
Here comes a bus. I'm going
Yeah.
to throw you under it. So Kim brought her saw.
Oh, I brought everything. I brought double screwdrivers, double flatheads, double this, double that. I even brought tape measures, and I mean, I was on it.
Yeah.
And I told her, I've got everything I can imagine plus some, so I know I forgot something. Well, we figured out what it was when I went to cut the shelves. Because I did bring the saw. In fact, it's a brand new hand saw. So brand new that it didn't have a blade in it. It's a little hard to cut without a blade.
Yeah.
So someone else I knew, I had a little craft saw, and I'm like, this will take me 3 days to cut one shelf. Someone else had a hand, a real live manual up and down by your hand saw. And that somebody else walked by and said, that's going to take you a while. I said, I know. And he had a Sawzall in the car. So then I made quick work of it after that.
Yes. So we were very glad to find somebody. Had we had to run out and get a blade or whatever, that would have, because it would have been easier to go buy a blade
Yep.
than to go home and get the blade. So that would have cut down, that would have cut into our time.
Yep. Time and money.
Yeah. So
Those blades ain't cheap.
So that's one thing we kind of we kind of goofed on, but, that wasn't that big of a deal. We had everything kind of laid out and planned out how we wanted to do it. And I guess we didn't, when you're thinking about where you're going to put stuff or where you're going to move it to, you might think you have more than you do, or you don't have as much as you think you do. So I kind of think...
We had both sides of that coin happen, yep.
So I think when we were putting stuff, we were like, oh, well, this is all going to go on one shelf. No, that's not all going to fit on one shelf. So in our drawing and in our map, we had, 2 empty shelves? 3 empty shelves?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, we were able to spread out and everything fit. But...
Well, and we knew there would be things that weren't categorized that we would need to find a place for, and...
Yeah, we kind of had a
buffer zone.
A box of kind of, we don't really have a place to put it, or it doesn't have a category to go in, and we couldn't really find anything to stage it with, so we did take a few things back home.
A handful. Very
Not much,
little.
yeah.
Very little handful.
So I think it went really well. I'm hoping that we have already put up the video that is all the snippets, so you get to see from beginning to end. So you've seen that, or if you haven't, go and look at that, and then listen to this podcast, and then you're going to hear, exactly our thought process on it. I think overall, it did take longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
But I don't look at the time and think, man, we were goofing off, or it was a waste of time. I mean, the results we now have are absolutely worth it. So it wasn't like we did a lot. We did 12 hours and then we stood back and still went, we still don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're very happy that that's the case. We had a lot of vendors coming by and looking and saying, your walkway looks wider. Did you take something out of your booth?
Yeah, he said, what big thing did you take out of here? And it's like, nothing. Didn't move nothing.
Yeah, so I think the white shelves brighten it up to make it just looks bigger.
It looks wider. And because, once again, we've talked about planning and using every square inch and all of that, we had dead space in each corner. And it didn't seem like a lot. And at first, it was like, well, whatever. But when you see how much room we picked up by just running those shelves over a few more inches to the wall,
oh yeah,
it makes it brighter and it looks wider.
I mean, it was close to a foot. Would you say on each side? And then that's 4 shelves, and then another 4 shelves. So it's like 8 feet.
6 foot.
That's almost 8 feet.
Well, a foot on each side. Yeah, because when you think those shelves you had there were 3 feet, how wide were those shelves?
They weren't 3 feet. They were probably 2 feet.
2 feet?
Yeah, or maybe a hair over.
And the shelves that I bought, except for the inch I cut off of the ones for one side, and those were 4 feet wide. So there's 8 feet to your 4 feet. So yeah, we picked up 2 feet on each side.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're very happy with how that turned out. The gray mesh shelf on the left wall, we're still kind of, we're not in a rush to get rid of it, but I don't think it's going to be there permanently. I mean, if we had like a floor lamp or other things we wanted to bring in, then that would probably be a good piece to yank. And then we'd have room for something like that. But, I mean, I don't think there's, any major rush to take that out. So as far as time, I guess I was a little surprised it took us as long. I thought we would be done or very, very close to being done. And if you would have told me we'd be here this long today, I would have said, oh, come on.
I figured at least 2 hours.
Yeah, I was thinking 2 to 3 hours.
Maybe a little more, yeah. But we did a little more than
But
that.
I mean, we swept everything out. I mean, we made sure everything was, as it should be.
Dusted, wiped down.
Yes, dusted. We even, the stuff we have hanging from boards across the across the booth, we even reorganized those. We had some hummingbird feeders and some wind chimes and a few signs, and they were just kind of here, there, and everywhere. So we really reorganized those. So that looks much better.
I was thinking, like, when we moved to that double booth, we emptied 2 booths, and except for hanging the sets of shelves up, we moved those booths over, all the stuff, and put everything back on the shelves. Maybe not pristine where you wanted everything, but we did that in a day.
Oh, yeah.
So if you compare that to what we did here, that's pretty much what we did, but in a confined space.
Yeah, because it does take a while. I mean, it took us, a good a little over 4 hours to put all of the shelves up.
Yes.
I mean, I was trying to assist and help, and then I started kind of moving stuff and started, doing like the kitchen items on the right wall. So
yeah, we were short 1 shelf. When I went to purchase them all, they only had 7 in stock. So on my way, I stopped to pick up the last shelf at a store that had them in stock. So while that 1 hour, it wasn't quite an hour, I don't think, maybe 45 minutes or so difference, they were able to get in here and pull the stuff off those shelves, move all the shelves, and get that areas ready to put the shelves up. So that was like perfect timing when I got in with the shelves.
Yeah, so as soon as you came in, we started measuring on the walls.
Yep.
And Connor put the shelves up on the right, and then you had everything measured out on the left.
Including the wrong spot for the brackets on the top shelf.
Just 1 shelf.
See, I jumped in front of the bus, so you didn't throw me this time.
That's okay. You fit so nicely. So, yeah, by the time Connor was done with the 4 on the right side, the left side was, everything was measured out. It was just a matter of...
Yeah, didn't have to
putting in
switch the drill
screws,
bits out or anything. You just...
Yeah, from the drill bit to the, to the Phillips head.
Yeah, because each bracket, we had 2 brackets per shelf. Each bracket had 3 screws each, which had the drywall mounting plastic pieces that had to be hold
the anchors,
small drill, then those put in and then screwed in, and then the brackets put and then screwed in. So it was a little monotonous because it's time consuming.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't do it very often. Once you get into a rhythm, by the time you're done, you're really at a good pace, but you're done. So
yeah.
But that took a good 4 hours. I mean, if we would have had, I don't know, maybe a little, I don't know. I honestly don't think we could have been there much longer time-wise on Monday, because I was getting cranky.
She was melting down.
I was getting cranky.
I had to use my calming mommy voice for her.
And it worked.
I like the way that you explained it worked, though. You told me that some people are so condescending, but I had a nice mix of not.
Yeah. It's like when somebody says, calm down. You're like, what's that saying? Nowhere in the history of all mankind is telling someone to calm down ever calmed anyone down. But she was, even keel, and I was good. So I was so tired. We were both sore yesterday.
Yeah, and today, across like the muscles down the back of my neck and just across into my shoulders, upper shoulders. So it was really weird. It's like, did I sleep wrong? Why is my neck muscles hurt? I'm still not quite sure why it's those that hurt above anything else, but...
Yeah, so I think we only stopped for maybe 20 minutes to eat a sub sandwich. We sent Connor out to go get a submarine sandwich. He came back, ate with us, and then he went ahead and took off home.
He ate the sandwiches that somebody else provided and took the sub home to eat later.
See, isn't he smart? He's a smart kid. So yeah, I guess our expectations, I think we were pretty close to what our expectations were.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
As far as what we needed to bring, what we actually remembered to bring, what we actually did, the amount of time we thought it would take. I guess the time thing is the only thing I think in my own mind, underestimated.
Yeah, I was a couple hours short, but again, we redid everything. I mean, everything on the wall too. I don't think there was too much of anything left on the wall that you didn't.
The only thing we didn't move was our fabric and our earring spinner. Yeah. Everything else totally moved around. And
I just know I was so tired that I have a hard time. I can get down on the floor easy, but the getting back up is hard. And I know by the end of the evening, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get down again because I will not be able to get back up.
Yep.
Knees are gone. Nope.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think we got in there, since we had the plan, that was nice because we knew where everything was going. And then I would say to Kim, we talked about putting this over here. It's not going to fit or whatever. So, and I think I'm going to this and that. She said, okay, sounds good. So, we had a communication as we were going, but it was nice to be able to, I essentially got to a point where I was pulling everything, putting it on the shelf it was supposed to go on, and then Kim would go over and stage it. So it was a way for me to just rapid pull everything, put it on the shelf, and then she, did the staging.
And she was a woman on a mission, so I didn't want to get underfoot.
Yes. It worked out well because we weren't, I don't think we at all were under each other's foot.
No.
And that's usually, being in a 10 by 10 space with all that stuff, you think for sure we'd be getting in each other's way.
I think part of my personality is when you come into a situation and they're in charge and they got it. Not just being they're in charge and they have no clue what the crap they're doing. But when someone's gone in and they're taking care of it and they're all right, I follow along real easy. If I walk into a situation where someone says they got it and they ain't got it, I'm stepping in to take over.
Yeah.
But, in this case, you got it, and I was just following right along. I had no problem, because we had, in general, had already discussed it, so it wasn't anything on the fly.
It's funny you should say that, because the booth next to us, they have a larger space than we do.
Yes.
But it was funny because it was about 20 to 8 when we were packing up and putting our coats on to leave. And it looked like their booth had thrown up.
It was nothing.
In the aisle.
It's like nothing was in the booth. It was all in the aisle. And everybody she's like, can you help me? Can you come help me? And somehow enough people jumped in and was able to help her get everything back in place that when we walked in this morning, I went over to look and I'm like, this don't look too bad considering 20
not
minutes
considering
here.
what it looked like when we left. Yeah, and it was funny because I think they're sisters that have that space also, or they're related in some way. And the one kept saying, where are we going to put all this crap?
Yeah, there's not enough room.
So I looked at Kim and I smiled and I pointed to our sign and was nodding my head like, see?
I think that's part of what we want the listeners to come away with in this experience is when you're going to do something like this, or even if it isn't anything as massive as this, still, if you kind of, the night before or a little time before you go into your booth, kind of set a game plan each time and say, okay, well, maybe today I just have this box that needs to go out, or today I want to rearrange this or that. Make a game plan. Jot it. It never hurts to jot things down. You get sidetracked, you get there, you're like, I was going to do something, I don't remember what, or I thought of putting something where and I can't remember. And I'm a visual person, so I like to make notes, even lists for myself, even at home, because I can visually see it and click it off. So that, I guess that's, to me, one of the things I wanted to make sure that people came away with. It doesn't hurt to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Sit down and figure out what you're doing before you step in. It'll save you time.
Yeah.
You'll get more accomplished, and you'll feel better when you walk out of there knowing you got everything done.
Well, even if you don't, have a channel on YouTube or you're not making videos, as we were making videos, it was nice because Monday night and then Tuesday, I was able to play back the last few sections of what I had recorded, and I was looking and thinking, oh, we moved purses so I can bring in more fabric. Yeah. I jotted that down. So I watched it like 2 or 3 times to say, oh, well, we have a little bit of space here, so I jotted down, do I need a few more of these items? I wanted to take out a few more larger pieces for the wall and then take down a few of the smaller ones. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of nice. So then I was able to pull what I needed.
Well, and I've done that in the past, even at the other place. It's like, I know we want to switch this around. Let me mull on it a while.
Yeah.
And so I physically take pictures. And then when I'm sitting there at home, I'm looking at the pictures, and you can expand it real big and kind of, you get a better feel. It's like, what did I have over there? Wasn't it? You get in and go, oh, crap, I forgot about this. So take pictures of your booth just for your own reference. Then you can have them to look back on when you're at home and need that visual.
Yeah, it was nice. I was able to kind of at my leisure, because by the time we left, I was done. I was done doing it. I was like,
stick a fork in her, she's done.
I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it. And then Tuesday, you wake up after having a nice rest and you're like, oh, I wish we kind of could have gone in yesterday. No, we needed the break. So then again, I had that time to plan and sit and jot a few things down. I was able to pull out my winter stuff so that I was able to bring a decent amount of stuff out that I knew would fit at this point. I'm going to be able to bring out another probably 20 bundles of fabric. I got more room for that. So I think overall, it's funny because whenever we've had a booth, there's always been a space in our booth or a small corner
Yep.
or some area that we're like, wow, everything looks great except that.
Yeah.
And I told Kim when we were getting ready to leave, I'm like, I honestly like every square foot we have right now. I like how it's set up.
Yep.
And it's, it's ideal in that as it sells, we know what kind of space we have to work with now, and things aren't just disappearing on a bland brown shelf.
It's amazing. Just that color, that white. That's the one thing we kept saying over and over and over again was, I can't believe how just that color balance change of white really makes the place look so much bigger.
Yeah.
It just blows me away.
And I think if you've looked at the tour at the end of the video that we put up, even when we grouped all of the African art together
Yes.
and the Asian items together, it really just popped. I mean, it really looked so cohesive, and we were able to have enough items that it was a category,
Yep.
but it was staged within the category.
Yeah.
So that's just awesome.
Yeah, and it's like we've always said, we usually try at least once a year to go through and regroup, re-clean, straighten everything out, because it's just it's just part of the beast. You don't always have the same, most people don't always have the same type of thing, style of thing to constantly be selling. So things tend to kind of get spread around and stuck here and stuck there. So to take some time, even each week, once a month, every couple of months, and just regroup things really makes a difference.
I think that's important too, because I know it's not, maybe it is a little bit laziness, or you're tired, or you don't feel like it.
How many times have I come in behind you and it's like she's setting stuff down and I'm going right behind her, picking it up, moving it around?
Yeah, so there's just, and sometimes you go in, I have some items, there's a space, slap it in that space,
Yep.
and move on.
Yep.
And I don't know, you just can't,
It's just
you
what
can't
happens.
keep doing that every week
Yeah.
and expect things not to get,
Yeah.
cattywampus. So
It looks so pretty now, you hate to think of anyone buying anything because it's going to mess it up. But that's the whole purpose.
yeah, we're not.
I mean, you brought in one thing on Monday, a new item. I put it out on the front shelf this morning, and when we came back from getting our lunch, it was gone.
Oh, yeah, it was a winter item.
Yep. So it was funny, and seeing people stepping out of the way for people to walk through. And the one lady who used to be always across from us, I mean, we had some stuff that's, been there for a little while. Obviously, all people always have stuff that sits for a little while. And she said she didn't recognize any of it, that it all looked new. She thought we took it all at home and brought in all new stuff. So I think that's kind of funny that she made that comment.
Yeah, then it was kind of like all the work that we've put in have.
It's like, well, it
makes
must have worked.
sense. Yeah.
Must have worked because she thought this looked all brand new, and everybody else will hopefully feel the same.
Yeah, it's funny because, I don't know, there's so many things that you just kind of get blind to, or they're stuffed in a corner and we forget they're there. So you can only imagine customers who are there a lot less than us.
Yeah.
They're definitely missing some stuff.
Yeah, I'm real happy with it, though. It was worth the effort, and thank goodness we only do this once every year or so, because, that's a whole lot of work.
You know what? I don't think we've spent that much time in the booth since we moved in.
Yeah, no, and we should probably, last year we did do a little bit of moving around. We were there a few hours, like when, the restocking day.
Yeah.
We've been in for restocking
But
days,
I don't think
but not
we've
like
ever
this.
been for the entire
No.
time they were open.
No.
I just don't think.
No, because we never had that much work to do in it. And after this, we won't necessarily have that much to do either, because now that all the, if you take the amount of hours out that it took to do the shelves and that kind of work ahead of time.
Yeah, if you took that out, that was, like we said, 4 hours? So that was another, 9 hours that we actually were moving product?
Yeah.
Very, very happy with how it looks. I don't know. Usually you look and you go, well, I like everything except this one corner still, you know. But pretty happy with how we have everything.
And then we had a couple of shelves that we kind of left open because we knew we were going to have maybe some more of a, like purses or something at a later time. So it really worked out well because Jenny had a lot of signs, and a lot of them were just kind of leaning against the wall in a corner. And so we were able to fit in what we could fit in by theme and hang up some on the door that we could hang up and such. But then the rest of them we filled in the one shelf.
Yeah.
So and those little lamps going to brighten that up. If we sell those little lamps, we should maybe think about putting a little light strip or something under those.
That's a good idea.
Because those light strips aren't that expensive. You can get the rope ones, and maybe we could run those in
Well,
the back
this is
of
the
those.
time of year to get something like that because
or
of
wait for
the
clearance.
holiday. Now, you said you have some more winter stuff.
Yes, I do.
So I would say if you can make that your
Yep.
priority to get that stuff pulled.
Yeah.
So because as stuff starts selling off of what I brought in, and I didn't have a huge amount of winter
Yeah.
stuff. I do have
I don't have a large amount either because I haven't done
Yeah.
a lot of shopping in the last year or two.
You know what though? I just didn't find a lot of fall and winter items.
Well,
this,
and a lot
this
of
summer.
the stuff that I was finding was the really cheap crap that
Yeah.
I don't want to resell. First of all, it didn't look good enough, and second of all, it wouldn't have been worth the price.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It just seemed like, usually over the summer when it's 95 degrees, it's like, how much for the snowman? Ugh, 50 cents. Just get it out of here.
Yeah.
It's like trying to sell coats when it's like 97
95.
degrees outside. It's like, nobody wants those. But I usually, get enough to have enough for the season. But I don't know. Garage sale season wasn't that good to me this year. And seasonally, I didn't really find a lot of stuff that fit, like you said, fit into the quality and the price I'm going to sell it for. And,
It's just seasonal. They just have, but they have so much crap out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
The dollar stores, for $1, you can go in and buy crap.
The dollar stores really, expanded on their holiday stuff. I was just in there to get something the other day. And I was like, this seems like more Christmas stuff than it was previous.
Yeah. So
So,
you end
yeah.
up with a lot of that crap in the summer then, and it's just, I don't know, some people sell it and they may do well at it, but for us, it's not
Well, I'm sure
the
the dollar,
caliber that
the,
we're
the dollar
looking for.
store does well selling it. But
Yeah.
as far as, and especially since we're right next to a Dollar Tree,
Yes, we have to
that,
be real careful.
yeah, that's one of those, hey, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
There are some vendors who do that. I mean, not a lot, but definitely you're like, that's a dollar store item. So, yeah. So, I don't know. So, expectations and what we actually got, I think it leveled out pretty good, don't you?
Yeah.
So, like I said, the only thing that surprised me was the time. Everything else I kind of figured, how it would go and how much time it would take and...
Well, the dollar investment that we put into the shelves, which we actually got $20 off of that too, so I'm not complaining,
Yeah, you did. We have a local grocery store that you can buy gift cards, and part of that money, they give you a discount on gas, so that was pretty good. So
If you remember to use them after you get to the store. Oh, that's my third one. Ting! No more tails on Kim today.
that's it. 3 strikes, you're out.
But at least I went back in. They redid it for me, but
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
yeah. But I think we'll recoup that investment without too
Oh,
much time.
yeah.
Yeah, it was worth it.
It was definitely worth it, and we also had a shelf on the left side that we used to have the Lucky Bamboo, and had a little bit of leakage. And since those are essentially particle board, we
Yeah.
had some swelling on one side, so we ended up
bumpy, lumpy.
Yeah, so we ended up pulling that shelf and turning it over. And
Thank goodness they were double-sided.
yeah, it worked out nice. I mean, the shelf now looks like brand new. And Kim, brilliant idea that she had was we were definitely going to put the Lucky Bamboo on a tray because most of the problem, they don't leak. I think we had a problem with one.
Yeah.
But when you're filling them up, you're like, whoa, you overfilled. So we have a tray with an edge on it. Excuse me.
She had a slab of stone that, like you could use for a cutting board, marble. And at first was going to use that, which sounded like a good idea, but I said, if it runs off, it's going to run right on top of the
Yeah.
same material and ruin that. So
Yeah, because we ended up putting that on top of our fabric cubbies, and that works really nice.
And then she went to fill them up when she got them all set where she wanted them to, and sure enough,
Whoa! So yeah, I mean it's like a couple of them are glass and clear glass, and you can see where the water line is. A lot of the other ones you can't really see. So no, I think things went really well. I think the planning was definitely worth it. I can't imagine how we would have done if we would have just got the shelves up and then just kind of were winging it,
Yeah.
I think it definitely would have taken way longer had we done that. So,
That's for sure.
yeah, very happy with
Plan,
how it
plan,
turned
plan.
out. So,
Time is money. Plan.
yeah, the planning, it's, there wasn't a lot of standing around trying to figure out what we're doing. It was funny too because I think it seems like a certain amount of the people are there to work and mostly socialize.
More socialized than we're
Yeah, I mean, we were like, if somebody walked by and stopped and talked to us, we'd talk to them, but we'd keep working. But as far as like walking around and chewing the fat with people, we didn't have time for that. We're like, so when she's like, help, can somebody help me? I'm thinking, I'm pooped out. I can barely help myself. I ain't gonna come over there and help you. But, I think with the planning just saved us a lot of time. It would have taken way longer than 12 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you have anything else to add?
No, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been exhausting, but it's been a lot of fun. And the results are totally, totally worth it.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this podcast, our follow-up from changing out some major stuff in our booth. Hope you got some good information out of it for any kind of move or any refurb you're going to be doing in your booth. Just planning. Planning's the word of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to leave a comment down below, that would be awesome. If you have a question, you can leave it down there as well. Or you can email me, jen@pudgypicker.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter under The Pudgy Picker. And what else? What am I forgetting? Subscribe if you haven't already. You can hit the bell and you will get notifications as to when I put up new videos.
Love to read your comments.
Oh,
Everyone.
yeah.
That's fun.
So if there's any new ideas or things that you didn't think of after watching how we did things,
Or if you would have done it differently.
yeah, just give us a
Let us
heads
know.
up because we're always open for feedback for sure.
Yep.
So I guess that's all we got. We will see you next week, same time.
Same butt channel.
Yep. Bat
Fat-
channel or
fat
butt
channel.
Fat channel. Well, it
Well,
is Pudgy
Pudgy.
Picker, yeah. Okay, well, we will
Okay.
see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
The heading of